Once upon a time, there was a land called Praise. This land had a special desire to sing. All of their forefathers had done so. There were birds that sat in the highest branches of every tree. These birds sang. They sang early in the morning, where there were little droplets of water on the petals of each flower. And when the afternoon came, some ceased. It was as if they paused to hear the singing down below. For down below them, indeed, stood a whole town of singers. Oh, they sang softly with the birds at the earliest, most tender parts of the day. Then they sang loud and boisterous as they passed through their afternoon. Songs of joy and victory shot out across the land. Down below the birds, they sang. They sang amidst a clatter of supper dishes and the television shows of the children as they waited for their fathers to return home. The laundry rooms, the kitchens, and playrooms were all full of harmonizing and grateful reprises. But one day, an unthinkable thing happened. One rowdy little boy announced that he did not want to sing. He was soon joined by another little boy, and sadly, another. Well, this was news indeed. A woman, round as a plum, with sparkling spectacles precariously perched upon her little round nose, visited the first little boy. She arrived at his door promptly, but he would not see her. He told her from an upstairs window that he did not have to sing to be happy. Hmm. The plump little lady pondered. She turned her back, and just as she did so, she heard a horrible hissing sound. She glanced back, thought for a moment, just for a moment, that there was a large snake slithering around in the bushes by the rowdy little boy's house. She visited the second child's home, only to find the same thing. Through a window downstairs, she heard him yell, "Doing too much." The plump little lady went to the third child's house. When she approached, she found him glaring at her from a porch window. "I hate you," he said plainly. The now puzzled plump little lady said. Soon the attitude of "I don't want to sing" spread throughout the land. Moms snatched their pies from their window sills and shut their windows as she arrived. They grabbed their large jars of sun tea to lug them inside before they returned, but only to slam their doors in her plump little face. In their haste and anger, they did not make more pies, but gazed hatefully from their windows. And that, of course, made the little boys and some little girls angrier. When the fathers came home from a hard day of work, there was no pie to eat and no sweet tea to wash it down with. This ended their boisterous songs of gratefulness. The victory also was lost from the land of praise, for without a song to ease the pains of the hard work, the men grumbled. Women now had no joy in tending their gardens, so the flowers died, the vegetables withered. Without the flowers to gaze upon, the birds, the bumblebees, and all of the rest took flight elsewhere. The land became dismal and empty because no plant, no fruit could be born in such a dry and lifeless place. Everyone became irritated. They became restless. And all the while, the plump little lady with the sparkling spectacles kept seeing that snake. She was very upset. So she decided to do something about it. She bought her supplies, which was quite difficult because there was arguing and really rough
Oh no.
words being spoken in the general store, and traveled to her destination. She took the elevator up, 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 and up, 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 then gulp, up. Then she stepped out of the elevator and went to a podium. She plugged in all of her devices, and there from the building, she started a song. The song began slowly. Its echoing falsetto melted into mellow soprano, the alto, and then tenor effect eased into the boisterous praise. From her stance on the roof, the plump little lady with the sparkling spectacles could see the whole land, and she was pleased. She saw men looking up to hear the sounds of praise. She saw each of them as they shook hands with one another and returned to working hard. She saw the children on the playground. They began to hug one another and play joyfully together. Mothers came from their houses to hug their neighbors and sing as they went inside again to bake. Oh, yes, the plump little lady was pleased. Just then, there was a shaking so terrible that it put fear in the plump little lady's heart. She stumbled and turned, and what do you think she saw? The snake. It was large, it was thick, and appeared very, very angry. Its nasty, gooey nostrils flared, its red bead like eyes glared, and it was looking right at her. The plump little lady was just about to panic when she remembered something. She was not alone, for all of the people in the land had seen her on the roof of that building. All of the people in the land had heard her start that song. All of them had defeated this pitiful snake when they decided to return to singing. So she stood there face to face with that nasty green goblin of a snake. To her surprise, though, it spoke. It told her in its hissing way that it used to sing, but it grew tired of it. It said that it was the better species, the fittest of its kind, the smartest, the wittiest. So it felt that it should control the songs. It told her that it did not take to all of that singing to be happy. It said that it hated her and all that were like her because they were simply doing too much. The plump little lady heard the vanity of the disgusting creature. She knew within her plump little heart that there was only one thing to do. She told that snake, "You will go away." Then she opened her mouth. From inside of it, there arose such a victorious round of persevering praise that it was now the snake that was afraid. He hissed mightily at her, trying to hide its fear, but it did not work. In desperation, it swung its massive and scaly body to knock over the music box that played. But that did not stop the plump little lady. She did not need the music box. Do you know why, reader? For behind her, she could hear the melodies of songs along with hers. Her heart rejoiced as she heard the buzzing of the bees and saw singing birds returning from the forest to the tops of the trees in the land. Her confidence soared as the people of the land grew nearer to the building. They gathered at the first floor with extreme voices of gratefulness, joy, victory, and the plump little lady noticed there was something else. It was love. The snake shrank away from the lady, but it had no place to slither to, for some of the mightiest and some of the strongest of the people were inside of the building now. Bravely, they sang their way to the rooftop to defeat the snake. It hissed, it slithered, but wherever the snake went, the plump lady followed it with a mighty and heartfelt praise. The snake began to gasp. In a frenzy, it searched for a way to escape. Finally, it flung itself from the rooftop and lay at the foot of the building. It did not move for quite some time, and when it did move, it only edged along slowly. It hissed sorrily, angrily at the singers down below, and slithered on and on and on into the deep, dark forest. It kept slinking away from the singing crowd until it disappeared. The people of that land rejoiced that day, and each day after there was always a song in their hearts and mouth, for now they understood that there were many purposes of sincere praise, and they decided, each one of them for themselves, that they would never again let their songs of praise fade.